Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So I'm going to do this very brief hangout. I saw an article on Facebook and I wanted to share it with you and then just share my brief thoughts about this article. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. Unfortunately, I probably won't have time to get to your comments today because I have to go to work. So just bear with me a second. Okay, so here's the article. Virginia's first lady is under fire for handing cotton to African American students on a mansion tour. So you had these students that were touring the governor's mansion in Virginia. And the article says this, it says a Virginia State's employee has complained that her 8th grade daughter was upset during a tour of the historic governor's residence when First Lady Pam Northam handed raw cotton to her and another African American child and asked them to imagine being enslaved and having to pick the crop. Now, this article goes on to talk about how, the governor and his wife has been asking for people to forgive them following, the revelation that this governor took a photograph. There was a racist photograph back when he went to medical school. In his medical school yearbook, there's a photograph of a person in blackface and another person wearing a Klansman outfit. And I'm going to just share that image with you so you'll know exactly what we're talking about. And I'm sure that most of you have seen it by now. Just bear with me one second. Just want to have the image up so that you'll see exactly what we're talking about. So here's the image. As you see, there's a white man in blackface and then another person in a hood. At first, this guy acknowledged that he was in this photograph right here, this racist photograph. And then he wanted to backtrack and say that he wasn't in the photograph. One of those people, in all actuality, is this governor. So after this man and his family, wanted us to forgive him, wanted people to forgive him, wanted the nation to forgive him, and the people in Virginia in particular to forgive him. And you actually got some dummies out here that actually forgive this guy. And, you had this one mammy on television defending this guy, making excuses for him, trying to protect him and protect his reputation. But this situation is outrageous. You had these kids going to the governor's mansion to do a tour, and this woman asked them to imagine what it would be like to be slaves, and she gives them some cotton. I mean, this is highly offensive. And, this should make it blatantly and obviously clear that these people do not have any love for Black people. They don't have any respect for Black people. For this woman to give these kids some cotton, it just shows a lack of sensitivity. I mean, imagine somebody doing something similar to this to some Jews or something like that, or to somebody in the LGBT community, like making light of their history, all the suffering that our people went through during slavery, and this woman is going to be all lighthearted about this and joke. Basically, this is like a joke. This is a sign of disrespect. It's a blatant sign of insensitivity at the very least. And these are the people that want the people of Virginia to forgive them and allow this guy to remain in office. So let me see if there's any other points that I want to highlight from this particular article. But it's just crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy that this woman would do this. Again, this goes into, that photograph that he took in medical school. Again, this is not no high school photo. This is not even a college photo. This is a grown-ass man in medical school posing either in blackface or wearing a Klansman's robe and thinking that shit is funny. And then you had his latest incident where his wife is giving people samples of cotton and telling them to imagine being a slave. And it goes on to say this: Miss Northam then asked the 3 pages, the only 3 African-American pages in the program, if they could imagine what it must have been like to pick cotton all day. And then it goes on to say, I cannot for the life of me understand why the First Lady would single out the African-American pages for this, or why she would ask them such an insensitive question. This woman should answer for this. She deserves to provide an explanation to the people. And I don't understand. I don't know if there has been an update. This is a very recent article. I don't know if she's issued a statement. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. If they want to talk about slavery, if that woman wants to talk about slavery, she needs to be talking about giving reparations to African Americans. That's what she needs to be talking about. And it says, here is a statement. It says um, someone said this, one of these Republicans whose daughter was a page or is a page and was a part of the session. He said the First Lady's intent was to show the horrors of slavery and to make sure everyone felt the pain that they felt in some small measure. That's the excuse they're trying to come up with for this. And then you had an African American representative say this, commend the girl for her courage for speaking out. Commend this, the student for her courage for bringing this issue to the public's attention. Um, and then this person went on to say, this representative said that cotton itself is a symbol of murder, rape, displacement, and the radiating effects of the transatlantic slave trade that Black Virginians are still experiencing today. So yeah, I just wanted to share this with you, man. It's just another sign of like obvious insensitivity at the very least and racism at the very worst. I mean, it's just crazy that this woman would think that that was appropriate to just single out those African American students and tell them, ask them to imagine what it had been like if they were slaves and stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to share this with you. Let me see if you all have any comments before I close out. I may get in one other quick hangout on my I Declare War channel because I want to talk about this Lynn Patton. I did an earlier video about her being used as a prop during the Michael Cohen hearing, but I want to go into it in more detail because she recently issued some kind of statements trying to explain herself. So let me see what folks are saying. Stop sharing my screen. Shout out to Wish4. Wish4 said, I don't understand why she did that. Exactly. I don't understand it either. She singled out those children. So, there was a group of children and she singled out the Black children. She gave the Black children cotton. She didn't just say, give it to all the kids and just say, well, just imagine what it would be like to be a slave. She singled out these Black children. Shout out to Doug. Peace and blessings to you. Shout out to Water Sniper. Yeah, I saw that story about a South Carolina school, and I may look that up. Well, I may do that later. I may do a separate video on that. I saw that story where they had kids act like runaway slaves and stuff like that, from what I remember. If that's the same story I'm thinking of. Yeah, I may do that as a separate video. I'm gonna probably do that probably tonight sometime as a separate hangout. But yeah, it's just crazy how they you just make light of the enslavement of African people, man. Like, it's so disrespectful. It's so insensitive to talk to children this way and to try to teach a lesson that way. It's like, I mean, imagine somebody having children pretend like they're in a gas chamber in Nazi Germany, or pretend like they're in one of those mass graves in Nazi Germany, or pretend like they are, being experimented on by Nazis and stuff like that. Imagine how that would go over. Imagine what people would say about that. Imagine what would happen to that school district, or to that, principal, or to that particular first lady if they did something like that with kids. Imagine what would happen to them. So yeah, then it's just a shame that in light of this incident with this cotton, and in light of this blackface thing, that you still have Negroes defending this governor and his wife. Yeah, I've seen cotton like years ago. Like, I went down south. Yeah, it must have been for work or something. And I've seen cotton fields, and I feel what you're saying, Doug. It's like you're going back in time. It's like you are reflecting on what your ancestors went through when you see cotton fields and cotton and stuff like that. It's profound. I mean, it's like a connection to the past that touches you. It's like some kind of spiritual connection to the ancestors, and you feel their pain and stuff when you see reminders of what they went through. It reminds me of like when I was in South Carolina, and I went to the slave museum, where it was actually a slave market, a place that used to be a slave market. And they actually had artifacts of slavery, like the chains, the whips, and all that kind of stuff. And it just brought me back. And it's the same thing with this cotton, but it's not even like, I can understand something like that being in a museum, and you're talking to the children about the experiences of the slaves and stuff like that. But to single out these Black children and to ask them to imagine what it was like to be a slave, it's just so disrespectful, and so insensitive. And there needs to be some kind of consequences for this, man. These kind of people don't deserve the Black vote. Oh, somebody said that, Water Sniper said that this was the second time they took kids on a cotton picking field trip. Wow, man. Yeah, so I may be back with another video to follow up on that story that I think Doug mentioned. Yeah, Doug mentioned it about that school in South Carolina where they had these kids acting like they were runaway slaves. Yeah, I may do a video about that when I get off from work later on today. So with that, I'm going to say peace and blessings to each and every one of you. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And if you're not subscribed to my I Declare War channel, I encourage you to subscribe to that. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well and hit that notification bell so that you know when I post new content. I'm probably going to do a quick video on my I Declare War channel before I go to work. So subscribe to that channel, hit the notification button over there, and I'll see you in a few minutes. It's going to be a quick video. I have to talk about this Lynn Patton and her statement supporting Donald Trump, and basically cooning and tap dancing for this man. So with that, I'm going to say peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Again, please rate the video, share the video, like the video, and encourage your friends and colleagues to subscribe to this channel, New Possibilities. Peace.